Director of Investigations and Research for Judicial Watch, and my pal, Chris Farrell. Hey, Chris, welcome to the show.
Great to be with you. Thanks.
Thanks for coming back. Where do we begin? I guess let's start with new revelations, more proof, more evidence, more people stepping forward and saying this hard drive, the laptop with the pornographic images of minors, with the emails to board members of Burisma in Ukraine and board members of the Chinese group, between him and his dad and who's getting the money. We now have 2 or 3 confirmations. One board member, a best friend that was the head of this company. What else do we need, Chris?
You don't need anything else. What's more disturbing is that we know that the FBI has been sitting on this since November of last year. So November and December of last year, in November they took a copy of the hard drives. In December they took possession of them, the FBI did. That means at the same time President Trump was being impeached, Christopher Wray had this information. So all the phony stories about Ukraine, and the claims against the president, actually, all those claims could have been applied to the Bidens. They were the ones leveraging money and power and access and influence. They were the ones trading on the vice president's position. They were the ones raising money for phony board memberships. And Christopher Wray had this knowledge in November and December while the president was being impeached. He didn't say a word. And now, I mean, look, even James Comey came forward with Anthony Weiner's laptop and said, look, Hillary Clinton's emails are on here. Why hasn't Wray stepped forward and explained what they've been doing with Hunter Biden's laptop all this time?
Yeah, no kidding. Wray seems worse than Comey to me. I saw some memes online this morning alluding to that. They'll probably get deleted soon by Facebook or Twitter or something because, you know, now memes are misinformation. You can't even joke anymore or tell the truth through a meme. It totally disgusts me, and I really don't get how this is all happening right in front of us and that the mainstream media won't now take this story and run something on it. I literally have only seen, One American News, a couple other smaller cable outfits like Newsmax, Fox, and obviously the New York Post, and that's it. No one, MSNBC, CNN, the big 3, ABC, NBC, they're all silent, and if they're not silent, they're putting experts on trying to debunk it, saying this is Russian propaganda, it's fake. When we just learned the FBI had it, they're looking into money laundering, and then you have people confirming the emails are legit, and as OAN reported, and we're gonna have more reporting on this weekend, there are pictures on there of a minor in the Biden family, nude photos. So this is all coming to light. It disgusts the hell out of me, and yet they keep denying it. Joe gets to go hide for 4 days and not discuss it while they send Mr. Obama out to try and provide cover.
Yeah, look, if one of the Trump kids had jaywalked, there would have been 24/7 coverage, nonstop. In this case, you've got the vice president's son leveraging his father's official position for personal benefit, and suddenly they all have amnesia. They're all ostriches.
Yeah, I find it very, very revealing that we were trying to impeach a president for a quid pro quo when old Joey was doing did the exact same thing with Ukraine, and that's not the big problem. I mean, that obviously was leveraging the office and illegal. But what he had going on with China and this money coming in to Hunter, which it seems like in these emails, he was taking 10 to 50% of Hunter's cash. I mean, you can't say he wasn't involved. And then for him, for the last year, when the media acted like the media last year and used to hammer him on this and ask him about it, there's nothing anymore. You know, before he became the candidate for the Democrat Party, they actually were taking him to task last year. There's interviews on CNN, on NBC, where they were asking him about this stuff. Now they've just gone silent. I mean, is journalism just dead in our country? Are we just totally screwed, Chris?
We may be very close to that because likewise, you can look at Kamala Harris, his vice presidential colleague, who called him a racist on national television. And now we're supposed to forget that. I mean, how do you resolve that one, Kamala Harris? Is your running mate a racist or isn't he? Answer the question.
Right. Well, so that leads me to tonight's question for you with the final debate. What do we expect from the NBC anchor, Miss Welker, going into this? Are we going to even...
it's going to be a train wreck. And the fact that they're going to control the microphones and mute and shut them off. If I were the president, I wouldn't even participate. They don't. Some NBC, assistant director doesn't have the authority to silence the president of the United States.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Doesn't work out.
It's going to be interesting to see. Let's talk about election fraud, too. That keeps coming up. We now hear that a watchdog group in California pinpointed 440,000 questionable votes. Nobody's taking this seriously. The media keeps saying, well, they've changed their narrative. First, they said it didn't happen and the president was just throwing out lies and propaganda. Now they're saying the instances are so small that it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, but every vote matters.
It does, and California has been reckless, mailing out ballots to every single name in the state. There's no accountability. There's no ability to audit or walk back these votes. There's no controls on them. California, per usual, is trying to be the most progressive in its approach, and it's ripe for fraud.
Yeah. Final question for you, Chris. Legally, what can be done with big tech silencing our voices out there? Because this is not just happening to social media influencers that are conservative or celebrities or politicians or the New York Post. We're going to have a guest on here in a minute who's a regular, everyday, average retired guy from Northwest Ohio who had his account just deleted because he posted about a Republican rally that he held with a couple hundred people. So what legally can we do to put pressure on so that they in D.C. will do something legally to these tech companies?
We need to stop pretending that these social media giants are just platforms. They selectively pretend that they have editorial control. If they like you, hey, no problem. You can post whatever you want. If they hate you, you're zeroed out. You're canceled. They need to be held to the same liability with regard to defamation, libel, and slander as any other publication. And they need the same sort of editorial scrutiny and access to courts for people that want to bring claims against them. They're not just electronic platforms. They're much bigger than that. And
we wonder why millennials and the younger generations are so screwed up. Free speech is dead on college campuses, and now they're killing it on social media. Chris, we got a shortened version of the show, so I got to wrap it up so we get to the other guests here because the debate's coming up in a few. You have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Thanks for the insight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Straight ahead on Real America, a new documentary entitled Riding the Dragon exposes the Biden family's corrupt connections to China. We'll be speaking with the film's director. Don't go away.